What's up? I have a listener question that, well, I think will make for a lot of stuff to talk about. I'll kind of summarize this as being overcome by events. I'll read what this person wrote, and then hopefully it'll make more sense. All right, here we go. I just finished my second match. I think I'm awfully slow, but I feel mentally overwhelmed when I hear the beep. I think about my draw, proper grip, hand pressures, target acquisition, then target transitions, staying low on my legs. With all of that, it's just so hard to remember the course of fire, especially on longer and more complicated courses. Processing all that doesn't let me go faster. So when I see film of my runs, it looks like everyone is running and I'm just sneaking. So let's talk about this. There's a lot of pieces. First off, like I said, being overcome by events. What I mean by that is, for people that aren't familiar with practical shooting, it could be any kind of a qualification you want to pass, like for your organization, just something that you want to do well on. You prepare, you hope, you stand there waiting for whatever the start signal or beep or buzzer. Then once that happens, now, go, action. And sometimes people have, well, a little bit bad experiences, or, like I said before, become overwhelmed by events because it's just so much to happen. For example, let's say if it's like a qualification or for like a place that you work or something like that, or something you need to pass, and the drill is your gun's loaded and holstered on the signal, you gotta draw the gun, engage multiple targets, maybe there's different sizes to the targets, distance difficulties, that kind of stuff. Maybe you shoot left or right, reload, shoot them again, or shoot a special sequence of them, mag chain, shoot them again, whatever it is. All that stuff, when you're standing back thinking about it, it's like, oh, that's just, not such a big deal. But then when the pressure hits and you want to go now, it's a lot different story. The same thing with practical shooting. Looking at a stage, like, oh, okay, no big deal. I'm just going to run over there and shoot some targets. Then I'll go there and shoot some targets. I'll shoot these while I move and finish up over there. No biggie. Then the timer goes off, and you're like, I kind of get halfway through and forget what I'm going to do, and thinking about every little piece as far as holding the gun and then where to go and all that kind of pieces. So let's talk about how to make that less awkward or less of an event. So what I'll suggest is that when you're shooting a match, a qual, whatever your test of performance on demand is, you just do your thing. And at least for me when I'm shooting, I'm normally just in observation mode. If something out of the ordinary happens, such as the gun malfunctions that I'm not expecting, it's like, oh, what happened there? Okay, rack it, and then back to kind of playing the program or whatever I've kind of rehearsed mentally, or close my eyes and kind of visualize what everything should happen. It just goes back to doing the thing. And I'm kind of along for the ride in some cases. Not so much that, like, I shot a bunch of penalty targets and I couldn't help myself. Nothing like that, but more in terms of just my skills are what they are. I'm as good as I'm already going to be. I can't really change anything to make myself better. We'll just see what happens. I'm just relying on my training. The bad part to that is if you don't have habits, you call it subconscious competence, a bunch of different terms people smarter than me like to use. If you don't already have those habits formed, then sometimes you end up thinking about things manually. The way to work on this, or to kind of fix this issue, is to work on all the components separately in dry fire. For example, let's just say, well, the person's comment, overwhelmed, here's the beep, thinks about the draw, proper grip, and hand pressures. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. So imagine this. Every time I draw the gun, if I have to think about, all right, yep, that's where I want my hands, finger stays off the trigger, okay. Bring it up. Yep. All right, we're on the target. I clamp down a little more with my support hand. Okay. The sight looks good. Now I can touch the trigger. Obviously, that's way too long. It's just not going to cut it. So you can work on, I'll suggest you can think about one thing at a time. Work on one aspect. So for this example, the draw, I'm kind of just going to pick different areas to kind of cue or like specifically put my attention on. And that might change throughout the sequence. An example would be, imagine the gun's hanging at my side, my hand's resting against it. Maybe I have a specific spot of my hand or forearm, such as I always feel the magwell or the side grip panel against the inside of my arm. That lets me know my hand's in the spot I want it to be. Then after the beep goes, when I grip the pistol, I feel the beaver tail hit a certain part, like on the inside of my thumb. When my support hand clamps down, I feel my fingertips of my firing hand getting pressed into the pistol by my support hand. You kind of end up with all these little cues or things along the way that kind of confirms that you're doing the thing you should do. For example, for me, I talked about having my support hand kind of crush my fingers, or I feel pressure of my fingers being pushed into the grip while I'm connecting to the pistol with my support hand. If I don't have that feeling, I will know something's up. Likely, I don't have my support hand connected to the gun, and I'm holding it loosely. So that's, you kind of just create a checklist of things you should feel along the way. So in dry fire, I could work on just the draw, not even pressing the trigger, just hands at sides, draw the pistol, connect to the gun, get the right pressures I want, have the sight come to where I want. Like, oh, dang it. Nope. Let's see. Okay, yep, there's the sight. Now holster again. Try it again. Okay, the dot was there that time. Holster. Try again. Yep, the dot's where I want it to be. Oh, now it's a little bit left. Okay, let's try it again. Well, my support hand didn't quite get on the grip that time. It was a little bit low. Dang it. Okay, let's work on that next. And then you kind of just keep working on that thing until you have a habit. Now, you can build bad habits just as easily as you can build good habits. Maybe easier. For example, talking about the grip, let's say I build the habit of I race the beep out and I'm lickety-split fast, but my support hand's not always in the right spot and I really don't clamp down very hard. I'm kind of just worried about the timing, and I've kind of built the habit for my support hand doesn't really connect to the gun. I'm not really connecting with the pistol. There's not much pressure. Instead, it's just kind of there for decoration, but the timing is good. I'm getting it done fast. So go to the range, just observe my training. Like what I said for the match thing, only if you're in practice, just draw it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this thing's kicking a lot more than I realized. Oh, my firing hand's clamping down. It's because my support hand's not doing anything. Okay, crap. Back to the drawing board. So then going back to dry fire, working on just that support hand part, like leave everything else, just working on the support hand, connecting to the gun, maybe feeling those pressures of your fingers being pressed into the grip, or a feeling with your thumb up on the beaver tail, whatever it is. Work on those, then go to do your live fire training, practice like, hey, bro, 1-800, what's happening? This is good. So the grip's good, the pistol shows up, or the sight shows up right where I'm looking, hand placement's good. This is all pretty good. Now, the next problem is whenever I transition to the next target, I just look at the whole target, shape, color, outline, and I am pretty much garbage at finding the middle. So, like for this example, that'd be the next thing you build on. You'd go home, pick some different targets, so set them in depth in your dry fire training, work on drawing the pistol, and then just point just a sight picture on each of the targets. So do that. In that instance, I'm working on finding the middle of the targets. I'm not working on my draw at all. I might observe something along the way, such as, I missed my hand placement again. I'm gripping it low. Whoopsies. Okay. I'll try not to do that. But if I'm focusing on picking spots on the target, that's going to take up the bulk of my bandwidth. So do my training, just trying to find the center of the targets. And then along that, then in my dry fire training, maybe I do some drills where I'm drawing the gun quickly, or maybe I really like this drill where you're aiming the gun at the target. When you hear a beep, you press the trigger immediately, and trying to do it without pushing into the gun or kind of get trigger freeze or clamp down too hard with my firing hand or push the trigger in a way that it influences where the muzzle goes. So divide my attention around, do 2 or 3 different drills. Okay, cool. Let's go back to live fire training, work on that. Like, oh, cool. So I'm pretty good now at, maybe not world class, but getting pretty good at being able to grip the pistol, connect to it. The sight shows up where I look. I'm doing better at finding the middle of the targets. It's, match weekends coming up. I go to the match, and then you just see what happens. And it's like, well, the draw's still not quite there. And there was a couple targets I just looked at Brown and sent it, but this is getting better. Okay, cool. I'll just keep working on it. So then you just keep chipping away at that. So for this person's, kind of to circle back to this original question or comment, like this, we're saying you kind of think through everything. So think about the draw, proper grip, hand pressures, target acquisition, target transition, the stance, all that stuff you're going to work on separately. And then when you go to a match or a scrambler or a qual or scenario, whatever you're doing, whatever you're into, then you're just observing over that larger scale that's calling upon more areas of your training. Just what happens. Does it go well? Does it not go well? Something else I noticed. I wish this should be, along those lines. Then you just keep bouncing back and forth. So if you're in this situation where you're kind of overcome by events, the important part is to look at specifically what situation is causing the issue. It could be all of it, like this person. This is the second match, so there's still a lot going on. So for that, hey, just kind of keep working on all the things. In your dry fire, work on a kind of simulated, a couple different arrays where you shoot some targets here, do a mag change, go over here and shoot some targets. Then you move here, you go back to the first array, whatever. Just a couple little scenarios and just work on the kind of being comfortable moving around and picking spots in the targets and gripping the pistol and drawing it and all that kind of wear and tear. And then as you do more and more situations, bigger scenarios that call upon more things of you, you just observe what happens. I'm not a motivational speaker. This is a destination. It's a journey without a destination. I don't know what the end result would look like. For example, target focus. Some people are a little bit delusional. Like, yeah, I have a dot. I'm always target focused. Maybe it's just me. I'm too dumb. But I still catch myself looking at the sight once in a while, even though I don't want to, and it really irritates me. Trigger control is another thing along those lines. It's never really checked off. I'm always trying to be able to press the trigger immediately without having some other part of my hand clamp down or move or influence the gun. I'm always trying to do it, better, faster, stronger, however the song goes. So some of those things are just never checked off. You just keep working on it, plug those things back into a bigger scenario, see where you get overwhelmed, what breaks down, what doesn't quite work the way you want it to, take it back to dry fire, just working on that one element, nothing else, and then as that gets hopefully stronger, plug it back in the bigger scenario and just bounce back and forth. So there's quite a few questions along those lines. Hopefully that answers the questions or comments and kind of gives you something to think about in your training. If you have questions or anything I assumed or didn't answer, feel free to drop it below in the comments. If it's something easy to answer, just a sentence or two, I'll type it out. If not, like this, I'm too lazy to type out all this nonsense I just talked about, so I'll just make a video. Appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that garbage. But if you don't want to, that's okay too. Either way, I hope you have a good day.